We're going to go through a little tutorial for you to show you how to can beef. We're processing the beef right now. And we're taking some of our trimmings, our stew meat is what we would call that. We're going to show you how to get from that to this, which will last on your shelf for up to a couple years.
Here we are today, Midwest Marine Parts. We have the shop dog helping us. What we're doing today is a little slow time in between ice fishing. We ended up getting a beef from a guy, and we are cutting up steaks today, doing stew meat, and we will explain the process from the cupboard where the jars are to running them through the dishwasher and getting them sterilized to the meat to the canner. So here what we're doing is running the jars through the dishwasher, basically sterilizing them, making sure there is no dust on any portion of the lid where the band or where the lid is going to sit on. Which here I am heating them up, making sure the rubber's soft. We put them on a jar, and then we screw on a band. Okay, here we are now. We have our stew meat cubed up. I have one batch ran through the pressure canner. We're going to show you the process of what we do with filling the jars. Remember the sterilization, we run it through the dishwasher, washing my hand, let them dry. Next thing I do is I fill the jar roughly half full or so, not too picky. We like onions in with ours, so we have some pre-cut up onions, which I have some in the jar. I put like a quarter cup of onion in, and then I grab in my hand and I finish filling the jar with the canned beef. So I will put it in there, get it up to the top, and then I'll pack it. I mean, you don't need to do it super tight, but as you can see here, I'm just going to go in with my hand, push it down, and you can use something else. I just use my hand. It's just easier. And then kind of keep it right below the bottom of the thread. Don't make it up to the top because when it heats, it will expand and it probably won't seal. But yeah, this is a very easy process. The meat, the onion, and you don't need that. And then put the meat to the bottom of the thread. Okay, our next step after putting meat in the jar, you need to put a lid on and a band. What you do with the lids, probably 15 minutes or so, you put them in water, put them on the stove, and they don't need to be boiling, but get the water hot. What it does is there's a rubber gasket on here that sits on the jar, and you want that warmed up. It's going to be your best odds of this sealing. So what we'll do first, we'll back up one quick little step, is we grab a rag on every jar and we wipe it off just from filling and make sure we have nothing on here that would prevent and have a little bit of a vacuum to have a leak where it won't seal. So I did these jars already, it's just for demonstration. Then we have our little handy magnet here, which is nice. Your fingers don't have to go in the hot water. You set the lid on, grab a band, feel it start, and then just snug it. Don't reef on it. Just nice snug fit. And from there, we'll start filling our basket to go in the canner. Okay, now that we have the lids and the bands on, remember I said don't over tighten it. We're setting our jars into our basket and getting ready to load it into our pressure canner. So this particular canner holds 7 quarts or 8 pints. So what we'll do now is we're going to take this over, going to drop it in our pressure canner. You can see the water come up, and I like just that the water's on the bottom of the band. So then from there we have our jars in, we grab our lid, we put it on, you can see it drop down, and we lock it. Make sure this is tight and it is down. If you turn this far enough, you can release your pressure if you get too high. But make sure that's down, leave it on high, and don't leave for a long time. Keep an eye on this. until you hit 10 psi, and then once you get it at 10 psi, you can back the temp off. And once you watch it for a while, it usually maintains heat itself very well, or the pressure. So here today we are canning beef. When I looked in our manual, you need a minimum of 10 pounds of pressure for an hour and 15 minutes. Right now we are holding at 13. Always resort to your pressure canning manual for the correct time and pressure on all the various types of meat or vegetables you may can.
And that is what happens when you let the pressure build too much. And you got to release some of the pressure before it explodes.
So here we are, 30 minutes into our 10 plus PSI for canning. 30 minutes in, and we are holding at a nice 12 pounds. So here we are. We had taken our canner off of the burner after an hour and 20 minutes at like 12, 13 PSI. I set it out in the garage and just slowly let it cool and let the pressure come down. So as you can see, we're on 0, and in the middle is a little button. And when this button goes down, it's safe to open up. So now we will take and rotate it, lift it up, you'll see it. And now we will just grab this and lift out our jars. Whew, that's a little warm. We're gonna get some homemade pot holders here. That was a little toasty. Should know better, but so here we are, the finished product. So as this cools down, this little button in the middle, you can see that little knob. It cools down, it'll shrink, and that'll pop down, and that means that jar is completely sealed. That's how you get years of shelf life. But make sure after it cools that you check every one, or you're gonna have the other side of not lasting a long time. It'll go bad, but you could make it right away so you don't waste it. But as you can see, it's bubbling, and then you'll hear it pop, and that means it's sealed. I guess from here, put it in the stove, heat it up, thicken it, and enjoy.
Here we have one of our jars of canned beef that I just opened up, and it is ready to eat right out of that jar. However, I am going to pour it in a little saucepan and heat it up. Roughly about 10-15 minutes is all it's going to take. It's already cooked and ready to go. But I'm going to heat it up a little bit and add a little bit of thickening agent to get a little bit of gravy. And it's going to be good eats over some mashed potatoes.